Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Gear Talk, and this time I'm going to talk to you about something I made myself, a do-it-yourself project about an UV box, Italian style, to expose the paper for alternative processing like Van Dyke, Chanotype and so on. Before we begin, as usual, please, if you want to support the channel, put a like if you like the video, share with your friends and these kind of things, but also you can go on my website and check out the books that I wrote, and that can be really a nice way to support the channel. This said, let's talk about this UV box. I decided to give a try to some old process. Now it's called alternative, but actually was the process used at the beginning of photography to print photographs. And I decided to try with something simple at the beginning as Van Dyke and then move on. To do that, all this kind of process, they need the paper to be exposed in a contact with the film in a source of light like the sun. There's a lot of UV light. To do it in the sun is nice, but it's something that is not really predictable, the quantity of UV light that the sun will have that day, and mostly I'm in a place that is, in North Italy here, is pretty cold, and so I decided to create a UV box so I can have a predictable results. By the way, for all these you will see, we'll have an article on my website that is mentioned down there in the comments with all the details of the circuit and the timer and all this kind of things. What I did was get inspired by some other projects I saw online and do it in my own way. The first thing was why to use a plastic box that is ugly and cost me money, when in my basement I have some beautiful boxes from wine. This was a box for wine, the wine was gone already. This is Italy, so the wine is always gone, and I decided to use this box because it's made with wood, and wood is more coherent with the process from the old days than plastic. So I decided to use this. The size was perfect. I can put 30 by 40 centimeters inside here, so I can print my 8 by 10 in contact on a larger sheet of paper and still be very comfortable inside this box. What I did is I created a series of LED stripes that are obviously connected together, and I decided to do something different from the projects I saw online, and that means to add a timer. So I have a timer here that I can set exactly as I want, in hours, minutes, and seconds. And I also decided to put a regulation of power, so I have half power or full power that I can select here. And another thing that I decided is to put a couple of LED lights that tell me when the LED stripes are on or off. It's not really smart to always look at ultraviolet light. It's not this is not really dangerous, but still is not something very good for our skin and eyes and so on. So I prefer to put a reference outside the box that tells me it's connected in parallel with the LED, so it tells me if they are working or not. So it's very simple. I can just set the time, set here if I want the second, minutes, hour, or the contrast of the display, but in this case let's say the seconds. I want to go from 15 to 12 seconds, and that's okay. I can put start and it will start to count, and as you can see here is half the power, so half the LED are open. If I put half power, all the LED will stay on. And yes, I can switch the power half full during the exposure. It's something that is not useful. Usually you do the exposure with just one setting, but why not? I'll add the option to change also during the exposure. So very easy, set, plus, minus, start. Actually plus and minus are inverted, as as a label here. Sorry, my mistake when I printed with the laser the names, the labels on the box, and it's very easy. One thing that I want to tell you is you will see inside here the walls of the box are printed with black varnish, and I decided to use black because I want the light to come mostly from the top. I don't want reflections from the side. A lot of people do that with white, with the reflective varnish, because they want more diffuse light that comes from everywhere. I read one direction or another, so I decided, yeah, I stick with the lights coming from the top. I still didn't test this with paper. I have in mind to do it in a week or two. I will try for the first time in my life to do a Van Dyke print and see what comes out. And this will be my main tool to be able to do that in the proper way. So I call this the Luigi Barbano's drunk UV box. So it's because if you have to drink all the 6 bottles of wine, usually to liberate a box for the project, you will be happy man. So that said, just joking, but that said, this is the box. But the most important part is that if you check the article that is linked down in the comments, you can have the software I used. Here is made with an Arduino Nano, so it's a project like that, and you will find the circuit and the software that I wrote to run this timer and run this UV box. They said, if it's interesting for you, leave me a note, tell me something. If you enjoyed the video, please put a like, subscribe and share with your friends. And before we end, again, if you want to support the channel, Inject Fine Art Printing. This is a book that is the opposite of this, but when you are a fine art printer, it's fantastic to be able to do it with the modern techniques, as digital, or with the old techniques as Van Dyke or channel type and so on. Lasting Photographs, beautiful novel with great reviews online. And last but not least, Photography Dev Manual. Here you have all the basics you need to know to do photography, film or digital. So, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time with some other videos, and I hope with the first test of this UV box and my first test with the Van Dyke process. Thank you again, see you next time, bye.